탑라이너 기인 김기인이라고 합니다.
정글 캐니언 김건부입니다.
초비 정지훈입니다.
원딜 페이지 김수환입니다.
서폿을 맡고 있는 리엔즈 손시라고 합니다.
로스터가 2024년에 바뀌게 되었는데 잘하는 팀원들이 와서 기대하고 있는 중입니다.
이제 아무래도 좀 젠지 팀에 이제 좀 잘하는 선수들도 많고
진짜 자신의 역할을 잘 해줄 것 같아서 저만 잘하면 될 것 같습니다.
로스터가 바뀌면서 팬 여러분들이 많이 기대도 해주시고 많이 주목을 받고 있는 상태인 것 같아요.
대회 준비 전에 약간 좀 스트레칭 같은 거 하면서 몸 풀어야 좀 대회 때도 집중 잘 되는 것 같아서
모니터 위치나 그런 게 좀 거리 감각을 재는 거에 있어서 되게 중요하다 생각하는데 제가 원래 쓰던 거를 좀 기억해놓고 경기장 갈 때마다 맨날 위치를 바꾸는 것 같습니다.
플레이할 때 많이 보는 화면이기도 하고 해서 모니터가 좀 좋아야 저희 눈도 좀 덜 피로하고 그래서 좀 많이 중요한 것 같습니다.
모니터와 제 몸의 거리를 너무 가깝게 하지 않는다? 이 정도만 지키는 것 같아요.
헤르츠를 144를 쓰다가 244를 쓰면 확연히 좀 다른 게 눈에 보이고요.
좋은 모니터를 쓰다 보면은 좀 이제 부드럽게 약간 움직이는 그런 느낌이 있는데 조금이라도 사양이 약간 살짝 떨어지거나 그런 거를 쓰면은 아무래도 조금 티가 나는?
경기장이 좀 확실히 좀 화면이 되게 부드럽게 전환이 잘 되는 것 같고 마우스 그 에임도 좀 부드럽게 가는 것 같아서 마음에 들었습니다.
집에서 휴가나 쉴 때 이제 약간 FPS 쪽 게임을 하는데 그런 게임을 하다 보면 약간 조절이 더 높은 게 훨씬 더 뭔가 좋다고 느낄 때가 좀 많았어요.
대회 때도 쓰고 연습할 때도 LG 울트라 기어 모니터를 쓰는데 확실히 좀 저희 같은 프로게이머들은 조금만 뭐랄까 주사율이 느려도 체감이 되거든요. 근데 LG 울트라 기어 모니터를 쓰면서 그런 부분에서 문제를 전혀 느끼지 못했고 오히려 너무 좋아서 연습이 잘 된다고 생각을 하는 것 같아요. 이제 OLED 모니터 또 컨텐츠 찍으면서 그때는 발로란트를 했었는데 FPS 게임은 좀 더 반응 속도가 더 우선순위가 여겨지는 부분이 있어서 실력에 욕심이 나시는 분들은 OLED 모니터를 한번 써보셔도 되게 체감이 많이 되실 것 같아요.
이제 저 모니터가 이제 올레드 패널을 사용해서 이제 빠른 주사율과 이제 좀 반응 속도가 좋다고 해가지고 되게 기대 중입니다.
LG 울트라 기어가 버튼 하나만 누르면 해상도와 주사율을 좀 마음대로 할 수 있는 게 가장 큰 장점인 것 같습니다.
게임을 할 때는 이제 높은 헤르츠로 사용을 하다가 이제 뭐 영상이나 그런 거 볼 때 이제 바로 더 좋은 화질로 볼 수 있으니까 엄청 편리하고 좋은 것 같아요.
기억에 좀 남는 게 일단 모니터가 되게 얇고 가벼웠던 것 같고 그리고 디자인도 예뻐서 세련돼 보이고 트렌드를 잘 반영한 디자인 같아서 마음에 들었던 것 같습니다.
일단 32인치인 것부터가 되게 몰입하기 좋을 것 같고 좀 화면이 크게 들어오니까 게임하기에도 되게 좋을 것 같아요.
이제 젠지
Xin chào, Madora xin kính chào tất cả các bạn khán giả đã cùng đến với live Good Tournament được đến bởi LG.
My name is Wolf Schroeder. I'm going to be providing English coverage of this event with you guys. We have Gen.G here in Vietnam. They're in Ho Chi Minh City. We're going to start things off right away with an interview with the players.
오늘은 반갑습니다.
So I'll be translating for you guys as best as I can.
hôm nay thì không biết là tất cả các bạn
So she welcomed them. It's nice to meet you.
오늘 베트남 왔으니까 그 어떤 감상으로
So you got to Vietnam.
하고
So
있는지 좀 나눌 수 있어요?
let us know what you're thinking about it so far. We'll talk to
일단
Keen
베트남에
first.
처음 와봤는데 되게 팬분들도 많이 환영해 주시고 그리고 또 음식도 입에 잘 맞는 것 같아서 되게 편하게 지내고 있는 것 같습니다.
So Keen said there were so many fans that welcomed him. They gave him a warm welcome, and the food he really likes it. It's the kind of food that he likes, so he's feeling really good about it.
저도 베트남 여행이 이번이 처음이라서 엄청 설레기도 하고 기대되는데 오자마자 팬분들께서 많이 응원해 주셔서 정말 감사.
So it's his first time in Vietnam.
맛있게 먹고 있습니다.
And he's really excited and he's really enjoyed all the support the fans have been giving him. And he's also enjoying the food too.
như vậy mình cảm thấy rất là vui và đồ ăn của Việt Nam rất là ngon ạ.
저도 베트남에 처음 와봤는데 오자마자 팬분들이 너무 환영해 주셔서 기억에 많이 남았고 생활하는 데 있어서도 편하고 음식들도 저랑 좀 잘 맞는 것 같아서 되게 편하게 지내고 있습니다.
He's also happy the fans have welcomed him, and he's kind of been trying to experience the daily life of Vietnam, and he's really been enjoying it himself, as well as the food, which has been a common theme, of course, with these players. Myself as well. I am staying in Hanoi right now, and I've been enjoying the food a lot. Let's hear from
베트남에
Paige.
꼭 한번 와보고 싶었는데 이번 기회에 올 수 있게 되어서 너무 좋은 것 같습니다.
He's really wanted to come to
mình
Vietnam
cũng đã
for a
muốn một
while,
lần
and now
đến
he's
được
glad
Việt
he
Nam
finally got a
và
chance
nhân
to,
tiện
so
lần
he's
này
feeling
là
really
có
good
cơ
about
hội
it.
được đến Việt Nam như vậy, mình cảm thấy rất là vui.
And finally, we'll hear from
저도
Lehens.
처음에 딱 왔을 때 팬분들께서 응원 많이 해주셔가지고 실감 났고 되게 행복했습니다.
And we're really
Và
happy
mình
with
cũng
all the
cảm nhận
fans
được
that
rất
were
nhiều tình
supporting
cảm
and
của
cheering
fan
for
như
him.
vậy,
And
nên là
for
mình cảm thấy
context,
rất
of
là
course, when Gen.G arrived, they had a huge group of
Vâng, xin
fans
cảm ơn những
waiting
chia
for
sẻ
them
của
at
bên
the
phía các tuyển thủ
airport.
Gen.G và có thể thấy là tất cả các bạn khán giả ở Việt Nam. Tất nhiên thì chúng ta đã biết là Gen.G sẽ có rất nhiều fan hâm mộ ở Hàn Quốc đúng không ạ? Nhưng việc mà rất nhiều các bạn trẻ ở Việt Nam, những người fan hâm mộ của Gen.G đã đến và chờ đợi họ để có thể gặp idol của họ tại sân bay, thì Mai nghĩ đây cũng là một điều rất là ấn tượng. Thì không biết là các bạn có cảm xúc như thế nào khi thấy có rất nhiều fan tới đây ủng hộ mình ạ? Kin Shi.
네, 젠지 원래 한국뿐만 아니라 베트남에서도 팬층이 너무 많아요.
So there's so many
그래서
fans,
공항
obviously,
도착했을
not just in
때도
Korea, but in
분명히
Vietnam as well.
느낄 수 있었죠.
And so you could feel that when you were at the airport.
선수들이 뭐 직접 볼 수 있게 많이 기다리고 있어요. 그럼 어떤 생각으로
So many people are so
하시나요?
excited to see you guys live
저
in person. So how do you think about it?
저 개인적으로 이제 해외대회 많이 못 나갔었기 때문에
Keen says he hasn't been
팬분들이 이렇게 많이 환영해
to a lot of
주셔서
international tournaments,
기분도
so
좋았는데 한편으로는 좀 많이 놀랐던 것 같고
he was really excited to see the fans, and he was surprised. But he's basically just saying essentially, like, he hasn't had that many chances so far in his career to go overseas, but he was really, really shocked and surprised and really welcomed by the fans at the airport.
ủng hộ chúng mình ạ.
We'll talk to Paige now about his reaction.
이번에 공항에서 나올 때 팬분들이 되게 뜨겁게 맞이해줘서 기억에 남는데 진짜 무슨 LCK 결승전 할 때처럼 뜨겁게 환호해 주셔가지고 정말 좋았던 기억이 있습니다.
So it's a really happy memory for him to see the fans waiting for him, and it reminded him of the the reception he got from them at the LCK finals.
lúc chúng mình đạt được giải SK Spring ấy ạ.
Nói đến fan hâm mộ thì Mai cũng muốn kể cho bên phía Gen.G một câu chuyện vui. Đó là nhà mình có 2 con mèo đặt tên là Cho và Phi. Thì để mình thử nói chuyện với các bạn ấy để chia sẻ một câu chuyện vui này. 네, 저는 고양이 4마리 있어요.
She has 4 cats.
고양이 이름은 초와 피예요.
It says 2 cats. One's name's Cho, one's called P.
그 이름은 제가
after Chovi.
지어준 아니라 제 남편이 지어준 거예요.
And it says she didn't actually name them. Her husband named them. She asked them to clap for it.
Chúng ta đã biết là hiện tại Gen.G đã chiến thắng MSI và cũng như là LCK mùa xuân, thì không biết là cảm xúc của các bạn ấy
Her Korean is very good. This is the host, Idora.
đó. Thì xin được mời Kenyon.
그 올해 SK Spring 그리고 MSI는 연속 우승.
So you guys won Spring and MSI.
특히 이번 무시에서는 처음으로 우승했잖아요. 그래서
So this is the first time you've won back-to-back like that. How do you feel about your back-to-back wins?
SK랑 MSI를 우승해서 기분 정말 좋았고, 이렇게 연속으로 우승하는 걸 상상으로만 했었는데 이렇게 실제로 이루니까 2배로 더 좋은 것 같습니다.
Yeah, he thought like he'd be really happy if he won back-to-back, but now that he's actually done it, he feels twice as happy as he thought he would after winning LCK Spring and MSI.
đôi sự hạnh phúc khi là đạt được chiến thắng như vậy ạ.
I'm talking to Lehens now.
공주님 감사하고요.
Thank you, Princess. He called
저도
her.
이제 2번의 우승을 하면서 저 선수로서 스스로도 더 잘할 수 있을 것 같다는 생각이 많이 들었습니다.
bởi vì
Now he feels like
được
he's
chiến thắng đến
he's
giải
really
MSI
good
như
now.
vậy
He's
nên
able to
chúng mình cảm
win
thấy là chúng mình là một
both
đội rất mạnh.
back-to-back.
Vâng, xin
Spring
cảm ơn
and
những lời chia sẻ
MSI.
của các tuyển thủ đến từ Gen.G của chúng ta. Và hiện tại thì Mai cảm thấy là chúng ta đang được đứng ở không gian triển lãm của LG, và chắc chắn trong khoảng thời gian vừa rồi các tuyển thủ của Gen.G cũng đã được trải nghiệm những sản phẩm đến từ LG. Thì không biết là các bạn tuyển thủ của chúng ta sẽ có cảm nhận như thế nào về những sản phẩm này ạ? Xin mời Chovi.
지금 우리 LG 전시 공간에 서 있잖아요.
So we're right now in the LG space, in the LG exhibition space. There's a lot of products here,
LG 전시
refrigerators and stuff
공간에도
like that. So what do
오게
you think
되어서
about it?
많은 제품들을 보는데 되게 좋은 제품들도 많이
There's a
있고,
lot of really good products
제가
here.
만약에 좀 소비자라면 여기서 구매할 만한 그런 제품들도 보여서 되게 좀
He sees a lot of really good stuff here and things that he hasn't really seen before, and he's actually considering buying some of them because they look so great.
những vật phẩm mình đã sử dụng và nó rất là tốt. Thậm chí mình cũng muốn trực tiếp mua và trải nghiệm thêm những sản phẩm của LG khác ạ.
Vâng, xin cảm ơn những chia sẻ của Chovi. Và hiện tại thì chúng ta sẽ có một trận showmatch giữa các đội tuyển đó chính là Gen.G và một đội tuyển đã được thi đấu ở trong cộng đồng fan của Gen.G, cũng chính là fan của các bạn Gen.G đó ạ. Thì ngày hôm nay chúng ta sẽ không biết là trận đấu này sẽ có cảm xúc
So
như thế
the
nào.
last question
Thì
is
không biết là
asking,
các
of
bạn
course,
nghĩ,
about
các
today's
tuyển
show
thủ của
match.
Gen.G sẽ có cảm nhận như thế nào về trận Showmatch và cũng như là gửi một lời tới người hâm mộ của Việt Nam ạ.
그리고 오늘 베트남 팬분들 중에 젠지와 대결해온 팀이 올 거예요. 쇼매치라는 경기.
So there's another team you'll be playing against today in today's show match.
기분이 어때요? 아니면 팬분들에게 하고 싶은
And how are you feeling about it? Do you have any words you want to say to the
일단
fans?
경기를 할 생각을 하니까 또 슬슬 좀 기대가 되는 것 같고 팬분들에게는 좀 좋은 경기 보여줄 수 있도록 하겠습니다.
So he's getting excited, thinking about the fact that he's actually going to play a game here in Vietnam, and he wants to make sure he can give the best performance possible for the fans here
Xin cảm
in
ơn các
Vietnam.
tuyển thủ của Gen.G và chúng ta vừa có một cuộc trò chuyện ngắn nhưng mà rất là thú vị đúng không ạ? Và hiện tại bây giờ thì không để các bạn phải chờ lâu hơn nữa, chúng ta hãy cùng đến với bàn bình luận để đến với trận Showmatch ngày hôm nay nhé.
So that was the interview, of course, with our host here in Vietnam. So the players are actually currently in Ho Chi Minh City. I'm actually in Hanoi right now. I'm going to be your caster and host today for this matchup. Leading up until this point, we had a series of matches here at the Life's Good tournament with a lot of Vietnamese players, influencers of all ranks and all types. And they were able to advance through the bracket and ultimately end up here with a chance to play against Gen.G directly. So today, we're going to have two games. So the first one will be a normal 5v5 Summoner's Rift game. And the second game is going to be an ARAM, where we actually shuffle the teams. So Gen.G is obviously playing today, and they'll be playing against XGN. I'll talk a little bit more about XGN as we get into the tournament itself. But when we play ARAM, some of the Gen.G players will actually be shuffled with the Vietnamese players, so we'll actually have mixed rosters. So Chovy, for example, will play some Vietnamese players, might play against Canyon, and it will be an ARAM match. So two matches today. The 5v5 series will be with normal Summoner's Rift rules, and the ARAM will be with that lineup reshuffle, as I mentioned. So I have two teams with Maidora, the host who you guys saw on stage giving the interview just moments ago, and Optimus, who is going to be the team captain for the second team. So they're going to shuffle the rosters, and it should be really exciting. So I hope you guys are looking forward to this. And if you guys don't know who I am an LCK commentator. I work in Korea, so I'm very familiar with the Gen.G players. All right, so those are the Vietnamese casters as well there. So thanks again to LG for putting this on for us. This is the Life's Good series here. And it's really cool for me to actually have the opportunity to cast this. I'm here in Hanoi. I'm not on site with the players, but I am going to be covering this from a really nice studio here in Hanoi. So the players are also on site. There's a lot of fans there. And everyone's really excited to see how Gen.G is going to play, of course, in this tournament after winning LCK Spring and then going on to become MSI champions. It's been a really long time since an LCK team has taken an MSI title. First time Gen.G has taken an MSI title in many years, or rather an international title in many years as well. So it's really exciting to see how these players are going to play, because obviously the level of play between literal world champions right now in terms of being the MSI defending champions and being from the region that has been historically very competitive, of course, at these international events in the LCK. They have won 4 LCK titles back-to-back. So to give context, these are the best players in the world at this moment in time. Very, very competitive roster. Playing against some fairly amateur players here in the Vietnamese scene, and some influencers as well. They're very young players too. The Gen.G players also are very young. For the first time watching League of Legends, I'm going to walk you guys through it in a very basic way, but also have a lot of fun with you guys, because I know probably most of you guys who came to tune into this want to see Gen.G. You want to see a hype match. And I think that we're going to have a lot of fun today. Gen.G, a team that could play very standard today, could play what we call the meta, meaning the strongest champions at this current moment. But they could also end up playing a lot of fun champions that aren't really necessarily meta. And they could end up playing champions, of course, that they don't get to play in their domestic league, the LCK, or don't get to play in MSI because they're not as strong. But given the competition here and their opposition who, may not be up to their level, we'll find out. I would love to see Gen.G, end up playing a really close game here. They might play some fun stuff. And leading into this, we could see Lehens, who's a player who's known for playing a lot of different unique supports, play something like Vel'Koz support, or play his signature Singed for the Vietnamese fans. And so looking forward to seeing what he's going to play. Obviously, Keen,
Also has a very wide champion pool. Is known for playing picks like Urgot, for example, kind of push that forward in the meta. But he might also be interested in playing something like Jace that he's also famous for. So here is XGN, the team that made it all the way here to have this opportunity to play against Gen.G in the finals. So I'll introduce the players to you guys. Rhythm of Rain is a Diamond 1 player. He's the top player for this roster, and he was born in 2004, so about 20 years old. SCP-002, who I'll refer to as SCP, is a Challengers player here, and he has about 100 LP. He's born in 2005. The mid player, Nguyen, is also a high 900s Challengers player. He's the mid laner for XGN. And then Charlington is going to be the 80 carry here. He's also a Challengers player. And the highest ranked player actually is Pepperoni, who will be playing support today. He's actually a master player. Actually, I suppose he's not the highest ranked. That might be a little bit incorrect information. Sorry about that. But he is a Masters player, 25 LP there. And that's the information that I have. And he is born in 2002. They also have another player, Kane, who played with them on the way to get to the stage of the tournament, who played support, if I'm not mistaken, but he will not be playing in this first match. So excited to see how this one is going to shake down. Obviously, these are very high-ranked players, with the exception of Rhythm of the Rain, who's Diamond, but Diamond 1, and I watched him play leading up to this. He looked pretty good. I think Nguyen, the mid laner, really had some standout performances on Akali, for example, so definitely a pick I'll be looking out for potentially for him. And one thing I will say about this team leading up until the finals here, the last match we're going to have here at the Life's Good tournament, was that they all played very well and the coordination was very good. Like, the level of play that I saw was pretty impressive. And when you have a squad like this that doesn't necessarily have that much training together, they're not a pro squad, sometimes it takes a long time to actually get the coordination down and make sure you can set up, tower dives, for example, if you want to be able to set up for an invade or set up for a dragon contest, for example. These types of plays were very coordinated, and they're a very aggressive team starting at level 1. They like to make very aggressive plays. They like to try to get huge advantages in lane early. So I expect that we'll probably see them be very aggressive early on here, because I think that might be the best way to throw Gen.G off guard. But again, this is a fun and friendly show match here, so we'll see what exactly it is that they have planned and what strategies we're going to see. Is Gen.G obviously has had the opportunity to watch what these players have done up until this point, and then may potentially adjust their draft accordingly. So we will have a normal draft here, champ select ban pick system like we normally would see in a pro game. So it is going to be basically super legit, and I'm also going to be looking at chat with you guys a little bit throughout this tournament to see what you guys are saying. I know there's a lot of people watching from all over the world right now. People watching from the US, Australia, Korea, etc. So this is it. So I know a lot of people have been waiting for this, and for me, the most exciting part about this tournament is actually seeing Gen.G get to compete here in Vietnam with Vietnamese fans. Several of these players never been to Vietnam before, and they get to experience what life is like here in Vietnam in terms of the food, traveling around, getting some experiences in Ho Chi Minh City. And it's my first time in Vietnam as well. I've also been enjoying a lot of the food here, lots of pho, lots of bún chả, and it's been a place that I've been very welcome to. And I think that, as we discussed earlier with the Gen.G players getting greeted by Gen.G fans, Vietnamese fans, as they got off the plane at the airport, you can check out the social media and see some of the scenes of that. Some of the videos there was really, really awesome to see. So we're getting the game ready, so please be patient, bear with us as we get into this. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how this one's going to go. I'm casting this by myself, and so I'm going to be waffling on a little bit and kind of dragging things along as we do get ready. But some of the things that I'm looking forward to going into this match itself will be if somebody can, for example, solo kill Jovi. Can one of these players solo kill Keen? I think if you're a player who's really into League of Legends, you've been following the pro scene, which is very big here in Vietnam as well. There's a ton of Vietnamese fans of the LCK here. There's an official Vietnamese language broadcast for the LCK. These players are so famous and so well known that for the fans who are able to see them live in the venue, see them at the airport, for example, it's a once-in-a-lifetime experience. And if you're one of these players who actually gets to play against Chovy, I mean, it's like a dream scenario. Nguyen, the mid laner for XGN, will actually be able to lane against Chovy, something that if you're in Vietnam, you only get a chance to do if you are on the best Vietnamese team, and then you travel to MSI, for example, and then you have a chance to, if you can get to where Gen.G is in the tournament, maybe have a chance to play against Chovy. You might get to play him in a scrim if you're lucky, but obviously with the distance between South Korea and Vietnam and how the internet works, that's not an opportunity you get every time. So, you know, for a lot of these players, I think it's probably going to be something they remember for the rest of their lives, that they get to play against Gen.G. For the fans here as well, once-in-a-lifetime experience. And for you guys at home, I hope that you feel the same way. And I know the game is getting started, getting ready right now. It's this is how things go in esports, is, you know, you have to get the PCs ready. Every player has to make sure their settings are correct. So that's what's happening right now before we get this match started. And if you're not familiar with League of Legends, I can explain it just very briefly. It's a 5v5 game, and so there are 3 lanes. There's top lane, there's mid lane, and there's bottom lane, and then there's something called the jungle. And these 3 lanes have minions that will come towards each other, approach each other, and then fight. And then each lane has a champion in it, and both players will approach each other in the top lane. 2 players will approach each other in the mid lane. In the bottom lane, it's actually a 2v2, so there's what we call an AD carry, does damage, is able to do a lot of damage as the game goes on, but they're very fragile, and they have a support with them that doesn't do a lot of damage, but will help make sure that the AD carry is safe and will help give the AD carry opportunities to get money and get stronger in the game. And then the jungler is the 5th player on both teams, which will go around the jungle, which is a forest-like, almost maze-like area around the map next to the lanes where there are camps, and the jungler will kill the camps in order to get money. And once they get the money, then they can go assist the laners. So you can think of the jungler as almost a secondary support, but affects all parts of the map. And some of those neutral objectives, like the Dragon and the Baron, which I'll talk about a little bit as we get into this game, will give you some additional buffs for your team. I'm not going to be the caster who explains everything about League of Legends to you guys, because I know a lot of you guys are Gen.G fans, a lot of you guys are really hardcore, but I know there's a lot of people tuning in here on the LG Global channel who may not know about this. So I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of a heads up on how that's all going to go down. I hear the music changing, and I'm thinking maybe that means we're probably going to get into the game momentarily. If you're just tuning in, it's going to be Gen.G against XGN. First match is going to be Summoner's Rift 5v5, a normal 5v5. The second match of the day will be an ARAM. So, as you guys can see here, this is the XGN logo. And I'm not going to try to pronounce the full name because I probably butcher it. I'm going to refer to them as XGN. And of course, Gen.G, right now, one of the most famous teams of all time. All right, we're in now to picks and bans. Gen.G have taken Camille away. Kalista is removed, one of the strongest bottom lane champions in the meta right now. And if you give Paze and Lehens the opportunity to play Kalista, she can work with a lot of different supports and enhance Lehens' champion pool. So taking that one away is a wise choice. Gen.G will respond by taking away Varus here in the bottom lane. Asena being one of those other strong picks that scales incredibly well and also opens up Lehens' champion pool, will be removed now as well. See what the final ban here for Gen.G will be. The timer in the middle of your screen is the time they have to actually make that decision. There's a lot of different picks they could take away here. It will be the Talia ultimately. They decide to take away from Nguyen here in the mid lane. And now, pick like an Ashe could be the one that XGN decide to take off the board. Or could be something like one of Chovy's main picks, the Azir, for example. It's very powerful right now, especially considering that the Talia has been removed. And will ultimately be the Nautilus that falls away. Very strong support pick right now. And even with the Senegon, they are not going to let that through. Now, traditionally, a lot of this meta has been a first pick for the AD carry role, especially because it's been thinned out a lot. Varus is gone, the Senna is gone, the Kalista is gone. A pick like a Draven does stand out as a possibility here for Paze, one of the most exciting champions to watch in the bottom lane. And as the time ticks away, will be the Nidalee, Canyon's Nidalee coming out. We saw a little bit of this at MSI. And it is a very, very fun pick to watch. Really fast clear in the jungle, and the ability to poke with Nidalee's spears can be extremely fun to watch as she becomes stronger later on. The response here will actually be a jungle pick coming out from XGN. The Lee Sin, another one of Canyon's favorites, will be coming through. So it'll be the pick we see from SCP. We'll see if the second pick is going to come through here as time ticks down. There's a lot of really strong picks available here for the mid lane. You would, of course, be picking it blind if you did so now. Orianna is still available. Azir still available. The Akali we've seen from Nguyen already available. And we may have a bit of a remake of the room here, considering that the UI did fall away. So please bear with me. We may have a slight technical delay here. As for context, sometimes when you are in these lobbies, a glitch can occur which prevents you from continuing to pick your champions, in which case we'll have to remake the lobby, and then the picks will remain the same, but it'll take a few minutes to actually remake the lobby, get all 10 players into the lobby, and then, of course, after that, repeat those same picks that we just had, just based on the fact that we see a assistant here with Keen. Maybe that he was the one who ended up getting booted from the lobby. Again, big shout outs to LG. Thanks so much to LG for putting this event on and giving me the opportunity to cover this in English. And see the Life's Good shirt there. And I will take this opportunity to explain in-game, the players actually will be using, instead of their main IDs, a different ID, which is Brave O. And the reason why is because it's the final round of the Life's Good tournament, and as part of the Life's Good campaign, LG is saying it takes courage to be optimistic about the future. And so the term Brave Optimist is going to be the persona and the theme of this team. And I think it really fits because obviously to play against a team like Gen.G, LCK Spring champions, MSI champions, best team in the world right now, it's going to take some brave optimism, and that is the idea here. Life's Good, you're playing against Gen.G, and it's going to take some of that brave optimism if you're going to be able to get through and take it here, because right now I think there's a lot of brave optimism among the Vietnamese fans who want to see this squad do well. I think there's a lot of Vietnamese fans who also want to see Gen.G crush it as well, since they are the most popular team in the world. There's a ton of fans for them here as well. So as we do get this lobby remade, this is the assumption I have, is that this lobby will be remade. I don't have any additional information, but it does appear to be that is what is going on. That's the normal protocol. Just bear with us. Small technical difficulty here. So I've just been given the official update that the lobby is being remade, and the estimate is 2 minutes for the lobby to be remade. Every player, all 10 of these players, has experienced this before. You know, this is not something that is common, I would say, but it is common enough to where, you know, it's happened. You know, a player like Chovy has played in countless tournaments. Canyon's played in countless tournaments where this glitch has occurred and they've had to remake the lobby. It's not something that you enjoy as a player when your flow and your decision-making is interrupted by something like this, but it's a rare case, and that did happen here. But it'll definitely raise the tension as well for both teams, as especially XGN has to really stay focused going into this this pick, because it is their pick still. And it's likely they tried to lock something in, but were unable to do so. I am really hyped about this. It's been a while since I've been able to commentate League of Legends, since the LCK Spring Finals, where Gen.G narrowly defeated T1. Man, this is something special and really different. And as much as it is prestigious to watch the LCK Finals, to watch MSI, to get to cover those leagues, sometimes doing something like this is even more fun. Just because it's simply so unique. Pays having a little bit of a laugh here. So just verifying everyone's in the lobby. Everyone's connection is good. These players are playing on site. And as I mentioned before, if you guys weren't here, they're playing in the LG brand space at another Saigon in Ho Chi Minh City. All of these players are playing locally in Vietnam. I am in Hanoi, broadcasting from a studio there, coverage of this event. This event has been put on by LG. It is a Life's Good tournament, and the team XGN played through a bracket to get to this finals against Gen.G. So they had to earn the right to play against Gen.G. There were a lot of talented players who attempted their run as well. One thing I will say about XGN in terms of their road here in the games I was able to watch is that there were a lot of games where it looked like maybe they were going to fall behind. They were losing. They weren't ahead. They had a goal deficit. You know, they lost some objectives. But their coordination and their comebacks in some of the games were really impressive to me. So never count this team down, even if Gen.G ends up taking a substantial lead in, say, the first 10 minutes of the game. I've watched XGN bounce back. So I do think there is a decent chance we will see that today as well. And if you're watching this hoping for these Vietnamese players to bounce back in a big way, I think that you're going to be betting for that as well. But, ladies and gentlemen, the picks and bans are back active. So we'll find out what that pick is going to be here. Again, assuming it's going to be either the AD carry position for Charlington or a mid pick here for Nguyen. And it will be the Hui in the mid lane. See, Lens gave a little bit of a reaction to that pick being locked in. Hui can be flexed into the support role in the bottom lane as well, but likely will be played mid in this case. But does keep Gen.G guessing. As Corki is going to be hovered, the Draven I mentioned moments ago is going to come through. Now the question is, what will be played with the Draven in this bottom lane? If it is going to be locked in, will be the Aurelion Soul here instead. This does give a reaction. You get a reaction out of the XGN players. So Aurelion Soul, a very, very strong pick at the moment. Has been strong for quite some time. And Chovy has shown how good he is on this pick. It's very strong the longer the game goes. And in show matches like this, they often do go long. So I think it's a wise choice. And I really do want to see Pace play this Draven. And I'm going to get my wish. He is going to lock that one in. And now XGN will be able to have their own bottom pick and then start to lock some of those picks away from Lehens in the bottom lane that synergize well with the Draven. Samira will be locked in here for Charlington. So a very good champion at snowballing early game fights. And if you start to get ahead and you start winning those early objective fights on the Dragon, for example, the Samira does become very strong and very difficult to contain early. And when you have Draven against Samira, in terms of their early power levels, the game can often sway quite heavily very early on, one way or the other. And usually if I see this type of lineup, I think, well, this is maybe a one-sided game, one way or the other. I don't want to call it too early. Now, Poppy is going to get taken away here from Keen in the top lane. And this could it's very strong into Lee Sin. So that's one of the main reasons. The Alistar, I think, great pick here with the Samira. It's been a classic combo. We've also seen Rel and Samira be a very strong combo in the past. Has not really been very common in the pro scene recently, but that could be another pick they want to potentially take away here from Pepperoni. And Keen is very good at Poppy, but it's really more about what Poppy does to the Samira, what Poppy does to the Lee Sin here in this draft. So a wise choice from XGN to take that one away. Ashe has been taken away, so that's another one of those picks that really helps you snowball that bottom lane. There's the Rel I mentioned. Very, very strong in conjunction with the Samira, so a very smart ban here from Gen.G to take that one away. I want to see what this next pick will be for XGN. And one of the powerful things about the draft for the red side is that the red side of the draft gets to have the final pick. So after Gen.G has shown everything, you get to have one final answer. Now, this Renata pick is quite interesting. It works decently well with the Samira, but it also is a very strong pick with the Draven. So in some ways, great with this Renata. Not great into the Draven, not so great into the Nidalee. but it is a great denial. So taking that one away from Lehens, removing his ability to play this with the Draven is quite strong. Now that Urgot I mentioned a long time ago for Keen is going to come through here. Now this is blind, meaning that XGN will have the opportunity to pick that final pick to answer this Urgot. That's what a blind pick refers to in League of Legends, when you pick something not knowing what your enemy in lane is going to have. As Lehens will play Milio here with the Draven. That's a throwback. We haven't really seen this in quite some time. I'm excited to see how this is going to play out. Milio will give the Draven some additional range and power in lane, and works extremely well with Urgot too. So do like this. And it's looking like the answer to the Urgot will be an Aatrox pick here. No! In the final moment, swapping over to a Jace. So I do like this pick a little bit more than the Aatrox in this scenario, considering that there's multiple things to consider. So you can snowball that lane into the Aatrox very early on if you have a lot of jungle attention, and Nidalee can react very easily to Urgot's toss, where he pulls the champion back. So if Aatrox gets pulled back like that and gets speared, there's a lot of damage there, and then if the Aatrox starts to fall behind that lane, it can be very challenging. Now, this Jace is going to be able to match range versus range with the Urgot, and they have a decent amount of answering poke to the Nidalee poke. So one of the things about Nidalee is she can constantly throw spears at the enemy composition, and if one of those spears lands onto Pepperoni, onto Charlington, or even onto Nguyen, then it can take out half of their health bar in the later parts of the game. So that can really warp the way team fights look and how objectives can look. Now, the Jace can answer a lot of that poke, though. So Rhythm of the Rain will have the opportunity here to poke back with the Jace and offer some exchanges when we fight around what's often referred to as the neutral, when you're setting up for a dragon fight, setting up for a Baron fight. These are the things that give you big, important buffs in League of Legends. And Jace is one of the picks that Keen is very known for. You know, he's playing the Urgot here, but he's very familiar with this matchup, you have to imagine. And this is going to be hype. You know, I love to see Samira. No Rel aside her, unfortunately, but do really love to see Samira coming through, so I think Charlington can prove himself a lot here. And I think for Rhythm of the Rain, a Diamond player playing against Keen in this matchup here, playing Jace, one of Keen's iconic picks into his more recently very iconic Urgot, is going to be fun to watch. And of course, the Hui matchup into the Aurelion Soul can be, you know, pretty good for the Hui because he has a lot of range. It can punish the Aurelion Soul while he's channeling his Q, his breath, to actually clear the waves. If he's able to time his fear correctly and land that, it can make Chovy's life very difficult. But if you make one mistake in any of these matchups, like if Canyon finds you in the jungle, if Chovy has control of the mid lane, he finds SCP, SCP gets killed, the Nidalee starts to get ahead, take all the jungle camps away. If Hui ends up getting solo killed, which shouldn't happen, but it might happen, it's Chovy, then this game can get warped very quickly because the Aurelion Soul can fly around the map and influence all of the lanes too from an early stage of the game. And it doesn't get better either. You get to the later parts of the game, the Aurelion Soul becomes extremely strong, even if Chovy doesn't have a large lead in lane. I think the ideal scenario here for XGN is to play their style, play aggressively early, and look for some early fights around this Samira when she's at her strongest, around those first few dragon fights. And we are almost ready, ladies and gentlemen, to get into this game. Gen.G defending LCK Spring Champions, XGN, amateur players fighting their way through this Life's Good tournament to get their way to have a chance to play against the legends that sit across from them in Gen.G. You know, on one hand, I wouldn't want to be Nguyen right now to have to lane against Chovy in this important match against so many Vietnamese fans watching at home. But I can bet you, as nervous as he probably feels right now, that's probably one of the most excited moments in this loading screen the man has had in his life. To play against Chovy on stage, SCP, matching up against Canyon's Nidalee, an iconic pick for the player across his career. Life's good. Life is good, friends. Let's jump into this. It is common to have a pause at the beginning of the game to make sure all settings are correct, so we might not have any issues here. I will confirm once I get confirmation. I know there's a lot of you guys watching at home. A lot of you guys really looking forward to this. You guys should post in the chat what champion you're most excited for. I'll spoil mine. It's Canyons Nidalee. I didn't have the opportunity to cast any of the Nidalee games at MSI. So Nidalee is one of my favorite champions to cast. And Canyon is so iconic on this pick. He has warped entire games, entire series around it. He actually warped a game against Gen.G when he wasn't on the squad with it. And I do think that the fact that this pick is now strong again in the meta, super exciting. And I'm really looking forward to having the opportunity to bring you guys that Nidalee gameplay. We'll talk about some of the items. I'm not going to get too into the weeds about strategy and item builds, as I know there's a lot of casual fans watching today, but we will discuss it a little bit, and I will explain some of it. Little Hens is having the time of his life. So if you're just tuning in and you saw this on, social media, and you're like, I hope I didn't miss it. You didn't miss it. You did not miss it. It has yet to begin. So I've spent a lot of my life since I was very young eating Vietnamese food. Pho in particular, I spent a lot of time eating in high school. It was probably the food I ate the most in my high school years. And as soon as I got a car, got my driver's license, there was a pho place near where I lived called Little Saigon. I used to go there all the time and eat pho, like at least 3 times a week. And I can tell you guys now that I'm in Vietnam, it doesn't compare to Vietnamese food. So much good food. So much accessibility to amazing food here. The players mentioned it in the interview before this match, how warm the reception was, how warm the welcome was from Vietnamese fans, and how they've enjoyed, experiencing Ho Chi Minh City. And the food was the thing that came up the most. Well, enough about food. It's time, ladies and gentlemen. Gen.G against XGN. The exciting conclusion of the Life's Good tournament begins now as we jump onto the Rift. And already, one spear connects. As mentioned before, the LG Bravo is the brave optimism of the XGN players here, hoping to take out XGN. Not easy to have brave optimism in a scenario like this.
Minions have spawned.
You can see the players' names, of course, on the left side of the screen for Gen.G, and to the bottom right for XGN. So we head into this. No fight here at level 1. We will have a contest from Pays and Lehens as they push up here, try to clear out vision. Make sure they can see if there's any lane swap going on. Want to see if the jungle player for XGN is starting blue buff or not. And they will be able to, by pulling that blue buff back, confirm he's starting red side, or red buff on red side. Meanwhile, Keen getting a grab. Uh-oh, this isn't looking great. This is not looking great. He does survive. Got to drink your potion there. And a near takeout of Rhythm of the Rain there on the top side. Does get to keep his flash. Oh! Keen with the moves! Flash! And will take him out, pulling him back with the E. No reaction there from Rhythm of the Rain. Very tough at that range to quickly flash react to Keen's play. He's unable to do so. We'll have flash advantage, but that's first blood. Going over to Keen, 400 gold into this Urgot's pocket. I mentioned earlier how it's difficult if the Urgot gets ahead into the Aatrox, but into the Jace. Shouldn't happen this early as we're looking for a heal here at level 2. The all-in is real, and the flash and the auto! And Pays will pick up the second kill here on Draven at just after 2:35 in-game time. Draven is passive, but we'll talk about this play once again. So hitting level 2, healing here to get the additional range, and stepping back one time here is all it takes as he's taken out. Charlington steps back into range for one more auto, and that means that with Pays flashing, he can guarantee one more auto to connect. And he takes out the Samira early. Keen will be able to get this back. I'll grab 2 long swords and head back to the top lane with his teleport after trading aggressively. So Rhythm of the Rain, no teleport, forced to back here. Nidalee also in the vicinity. Not sure if Canyon hit him with a spear to get him that low, or if it was Keen making an aggressive play moments before. But either way, lane state not looking great here for Rhythm of the Rain. Samira pushed out of lane early. Now Draven, so talking about Draven's passive, he does stack up by picking up his axes, what's called adoration stacks, and that will give him the opportunity to, if he secures a kill, turn all of that into additional income, additional gold, and that allows Draven to very quickly accelerate how much damage he can do in the game. So picking up a kill early is really huge for a Draven, but picking it up this early, the good news is picking up this early means he wasn't able to get that many stacks, and so therefore the bonus gold he got was very negligible at this stage. So you know, there's a silver lining here for Charlington there in the bottom lane. And I'll coin some of the casting here, Brave Optimism as well. All right, so far, at least in the jungle, there haven't been any mishaps here for SCP. Just trading Rift Scuttles right now. Canyon is playing, it looks like his Nidalee skin as well. He earned. And we're going to see a little bit of a cover here from SCP in the mid lane as Chovy teleported back first, as trying to continue to put the pressure on, thin out those minions. Continue to crash those waves in, might be able to start putting some pressure on that first plate. With the lead and control they have in the mid lane, Lens is going to take some vision away here. They do not know they're wrapping around. They're wrapping all the way around. And Pays, he does so much damage right now, already has that serrated Dirk. And now with the already used the spin there from the Samira, not much Charlington can do. And Nidalee here as well. Canyon, can he hit the spear? Oh, there's that roam coming through from Chovy as well. Flashing, looking for the kill. Quite able to secure it there with the fire breath coming through the queue. Not enough to take out Pepperoni, but they are trapped here. Now playing a spear dodging minigame as 4 members of Gen.G barrel down on XGN. And it is going to be 2 kills coming over. One stolen by Lehens. It'll be the second one coming through for Pays on this Draven. And the snowball is well and truly rolling down the hill. I mentioned to you guys in the bans and picks that if the Draven gets ahead, it becomes very difficult. But this is not exactly the level of lead that I had in mind. 2,000, the advantage of gold here for Gen.G at 5 minutes is almost unheard of. Doubling the gold now, Pays is of his opposition in Charlington. Now, at least Nguyen is going to be able to get a turret plate here in mid lane. Chovy did have to expend a lot of resources to leave the mid lane. Lost a decent amount of farm. Nothing too crazy, but definitely worth it for the roam. As meanwhile, up here, going all in, didn't have the calculation. Very well played here. My Rhythm of the Rain. So he is able to get a solo kill onto Keen. And that's definitely something you could write home about. Wasn't entirely sure who ended up getting a kill there, but now that we have the replay. Was, of course, the top laner there. Keen miscalculating the damage. Some Void Grubs will go over. It's like just 1 for 1. As, okay, this is not exactly where Nidalee wants to fight. Is do you see another kill from Pays? No way! Pays gets a double in the bottom lane. I wanted to see what was happening with Canyon, but there's too much action. Pays picks up a double. Do you see that Canyon was pushed away and forced to back?
And there's another kill coming through. Chovy will trade it back, though, with his ultimate. Now Keen coming over will be able to catch and clear this wave. Thought perhaps he could help out, but will only be able to grab a few minions, clear this ward, and then go catch the wave top side. So it's not all bad news for XGN. You know, picking up a few kills here in the early game, as Nidalee can't really do much in these extended fights into the Lee Sin. So it's taken out, actually, in fact, killed off screen by his opposition here in SCP. Urgot going to toss back here once again, and the damage is not there, and with the execute coming through from Keen's ultimate, we'll end up taking him out. Pre-6 in the last exchange, Keen doesn't have that ultimate, doesn't have the execute, but this time around, bit of a miscalculation there by Rhythm of the Rain. On the bottom side of the map, though, at least, XGN will be able to pick up the first dragon of the game. 2 Void Grubs to 1 here for the side of Gen.G. So a bit of an exchange top side for bottom side here. The problem being that Pays already has a Hubris picked up. He is ready to really accelerate this game. Item that gets the better, it gets better the better you do, the more kills you secure. And he's already got 4 of them. Let's see, on the top side of the map, Canyon is taking away some of the farm of his opposition in SCP. SCP seen down here bottom side, so Canyon knows he can safely take that money away from him. And unfortunately for SCP, there isn't really a great opportunity here with level 6 ready for both bottom laners here. Gonna look for it. Aggressively forces the flash out of Pays, but look at the damage coming through from Pays. Kiting back here, and he's actually going to end up taking out Charlington. Milio ultimate comes through, the heal is there, and even with an attempt from SCP, it's disaster in the bottom lane. And in mid, we see the gank come through from Canyon, and down falls Nguyen, his second death of the game. At least you could say he's ahead of Chovy in CS. Not many players could ever say they do that. Not many pro players could ever say they do that either. As down here, you can see the damage output on this Draven is just too high. Some auto attacks canceled there by the Samira. Ends up getting taken out as the heal comes through. And even with the fear and the ultimate coming through, they don't have enough damage here in mid. Nguyen does not, in order to get a kill back there. So successful gank in the mid lane. Disastrous gank for XGN in the bottom lane. And now it is a 6,000 gold lead for Gen.G at 9 minutes 30. The Rylai's Scepter is complete here for Chovy, which is going to give him even more power in these skirmishes. As look at the damage coming out from Keen now as well, and that is a dead Jace. Easy peasy. As the knees get angry, Urgot's going to put that damage through Charlington. Scratches his head going, well, yeah, that's Gen.G. As honor to play against Gen.G turns to frustration playing against Gen.G as this team is so incredibly punishing. See Chovy starting to get stacked up here. 70 stacks already on this Aurelion Soul. Looking for a potential all-in. Good fear coming through from Nguyen to deny any further aggression. Keep him out of range for those slows. Now the pings are coming through that we'll have SCP coming down here for another gank as Pays was alone. Oh, good move there. Ward hops for the kick. I don't think Pays trades this one back. That's 1,000 gold to shut down here. See if they can get out with their lives, though, as Keen teleports in. He wants more out of this. His berserked there by Pepperoni, and the way teleport onto the ward that SCP hopped to gives him a good angle here, but he takes so much damage that even with 4 members down here of XGN, this is not a fight they're going to be able to pursue any further. Now, the good news is Rhythm of the Rain is able to get some plate gold here on the top side. Just a little bit of a trade back. But extending this fight is not ideal. And good interrupts coming through from Lehen, stopping these backs. Okay, that kick, or rather the Q, the Sonic Wave does connect here, but he does not want to continue fighting. Not against that damage. And the ultimate is denied deftly here by Charlington. But can he get out? The Aerie comes through. It's not enough damage. Uh-oh, Canyon's here, though. And this is not where you want to be if you're XGN. As Canyon gets 1, Keen gets a second. And that's Keen on a killing spree. And this turret is not long for the world on the bottom lane as Chovy is back doing Chovy things in the mid lane, continuing to farm. But oh boy, okay, maybe a punish here though. As Rhythm of the Rain does come down. No Way ultimate will connect. And unfortunately for Canyon, that heal is not enough. Chovy wants to get involved in the action. But respectful play here from XGN. And you can see the coordination is there from XGN. The punishes were good in terms of really reactionary plays here. But the lead is so great at this point for Gen.G. It's difficult to win fights even with numbers advantages in terms of champions. You can see Chovy can fly forward and force these fears out. Trying to clear some vision down here, but again, Pays is so large at this point. It is so difficult to actually punish him even 3v2. Doesn't have his flash back up just yet, so he has to play respectfully, knowing that SCP does have that kick online once again on this Lee Sin. And in the top lane, Keen pushing that in. And unfortunately, that just leaves Rhythm of the Rain. Few minions can catch before teleporting back. Now, this is a bold choice to try to take this dragon away from Canyon, but SCP thought maybe he could get away with it. Canyon says no, has the Scuttle Crab here for the speed up. Gets assisted here by Lehens, and that is SCP pushed away. Doesn't have to flash. Wants to come in here for a contest with the Renata ultimate, but it's only going to catch Lehens. Trying to go for the steal. It's actually secured here by Pepperoni. So, hey, you got two dragons, but can you get out is the question as Canyon once more chipping away here. Good deny of the spear. And a nice burn set through there, coming through from Nguyen, is going to deny him any further. Takes half his health bar. Can't look for a turret dive despite his lead. So, all things considered, fairly successful here on the side of XGN. Smite timing a little bit off. And putting that extra damage through was Pepperoni to give them a 2-dragon lead. Dragon advantage might not be enough to get them back in this game, but like I said, we've seen XGN have some pretty big comebacks already here in the Life's Good tournament. Let's see how extreme this comeback can be as a kick comes to the side here into the crushing maw. Clean play from SCP. Knocks him right into the waiting arms there of this mid laner, Nguyen. So as a result, we'll take Chovy down. So small victories here. The brave optimism is coming through. Now, grouping up for the Herald is Gen.G. You can see that on the minimap. Canyon has already started this. Keen is offering a ton of damage. He's gone for lethality himself. Try to accelerate this game. Looks like he's done enough damage to where he's going to go back to top lane. And there's just no way XGen can contest. Not even going to force a group up of Gen.G. Pays can continue to farm. Adoration stacks here in the mid lane. Bottom turret already secured by Gen.G. Okay, here comes the additional range here on the Pays. Look at how much damage he's able to do. And with the ultimate, that's another execution for Pays. Rip in Pepperoni's pepperoni. As down he goes. And now the Herald's just going to be dropped straight up in mid. Gen.G are looking to take a second turret off the map here at 15 minutes. And look at Pays just chasing down his lane opponent here. Almost two-shotting him. But with the ultimate coming through from Nguyen, it is going to be a 1-for-1 trade. But the turret will ultimately fall as Lehens is trying to take the Herald out of here. And they just don't have enough damage. It's Emilio, but they can't kill this guy. And now Keen's here. With the amount of damage that Keen has, I just don't think you can push this any further, even with the Shock Blast coming through. Maybe they get Lehens, they force the flash. And he will not survive. Looks like taken out, in fact, by the Airy there on the win, so securing the kill. And again, all things considered, and with the deficit, like XGN are putting up a very strong performance here. I've seen LCK teams who've not been able to recover as well as we're seeing XGN right now. As this is the exchange with Chovy moments before, as he's able to use the slows to try to secure his escape, but really nice Sonic wave there to finish him off. Now from SCP, who's definitely been the MVP of this game so far for XGN. He's going to try to duel with Canyon now. Going to be very difficult with the Haunting guys here to win this extended trade. As you can see, pops the Maw. Draven ultimate, not going to kill him, but it will be Chovy to fly over and get a flight reset. Can use that to go straight back to the top turret and deny that bounty that Rhythm of the Rain was looking for there on the Jace. So another near opportunity. Love to see the confidence from SCP into a player like Canyon. Knowing the strengths of Lee Sin in this Nidalee matchup, knowing he's the most fed member, knowing he has some of those additional resistances from the Maul Malmortius. But it's ultimately not enough. Ahead on the items, but it's just too many members of Gen.G. And with some additional buffs here coming through from the Grubs, they're trying to grab that inner turret. Not quite enough, unfortunately, for Gen.G to finish that one off. You can see Gen.G grouping and taking vision away here, as that one's going to whiff, but the slow will be enough. And the damage will be enough to secure another kill for FaZe here on the Draven. And XGN, they just don't have any vision. It's very difficult to see where everyone on Gen.G is. You know they're pushing towards you, but don't know exactly where they're positioned. And it almost looks like Gen.G had decided they're just ready to sit mid and practice for area and push for the next game. Down goes SCP. Getting too close to the sun there. Look at it. Look at the damage coming through for FaZe. 3 shots win here in the mid lane. Redemption tossed down here to give some additional healing as they're trying to keep this cannon alive to push down this inhibitor turret. As FaZe is looking for this one over the wall. Gets the speed up. Gets the ult. Not quite able to take out Charlington there, but we'll take a huge chunk out of Pepperoni before taking an extremely early inhibitor here at 18. Looks like they're actually going to let it survive as to not allow more minions to be freely farmed here in the mid lane for XGN. As Lehens is aggressively trying to get this ward, will eat an ultimate for it. Doesn't have summoners. Crushing Maw catches him. Got the ward, but it is going to be your life for it. As Lehens can't be too happy about that one. Small victory though, as is an Infernal Soul, and Gen.G pick up the first of those Drakes. Look at the damage coming through from Canyon now. They don't win these longer fights anymore. As SCP ulted, threading the needle here, and even with the bailout, it's not enough. Great attempt there from Pepperoni as the Berserk does come through onto FaZe, and it'll be Charlington picking up 600 gold here on the shutdown. Again, small victories, 1 step forward, but 3 steps back here for XGN. They'll appreciate the coordination there, though. Try to keep SCP alive during bailout. That's not quite enough. With the trade of kills there, getting FaZe, they still lose the Dragon ultimately. Will further lose map control. Now, bounties are available, so any objective secure here for XGN, be it a Baron, be it one of these turrets, will be a huge swing of gold for them, but they need more than 1 or 2 of those. They might need about 7 swings to bring them back in this one. 11,000 gold behind. As Chovy looking for the ult here, is going to get the stun onto Charlington, but not able to follow up with not enough information but where the rest of the XGN squad is, and we'll just back away. Still not a waste for Chovy, as he's able to put a significant amount of poke damage off with that, with the Leandries completed, and then continue to push that top wave in. 2 waves of minions going to crash into that inner turret on top side. As, Keen's looking for more here. Good CC to come down, though, from Win. And he doesn't have a great angle to look for the ult. Snipes him, though! He snipes him, though! Keen! The minions get vision, and he says that's enough. And we'll just put him in the grave. Now that bottom lane pushing as well, as SCP desperately tries to cover top side so they can try to get vision of this Baron. You can see here Chovy getting a little bit greedy on that top wave. SCP is able to kill him here once again with a kick. Secures the Sonic Wave to get the execute. And SCP is having the game of his life here. Even if they end up losing this, you could say, I killed Chovy several times. But this is the real fear. So they weren't able to secure any real strong vision here. Just 1 control ward in the pit, but no way to deny. Everyone's trying to group up, but you have to see a teleport coming through here from Rhythm of the Rain. The Jace is here. Charlington coming over. Chovy isn't here, so the damage isn't that strong on this Baron, especially with Keen not hitting it. It's actually going to be a forced reset here.
Ult drop though, and down goes Rhythm of the Rain. 2 kills here. As Charlington was also taken down, as Pays could basically two-shot everyone on the opposition at this point. No one really tanky. And that should be the Baron going over to Gen.G here. Even without Keen's damage, the Leandries and stacked up Aurelion Soul damage, it's going to burn down fairly quickly. SCP looking for some sort of vision here to contest. Down at 1/3 health, Maw popped, and Keen with another snipe! I don't want to say from downtown, I want to say from uptown. And another kill will go down on the win. Everyone grouping, desperately trying to look for a steal. Any steal would have been huge. The gold from Baron itself, the defensive options against the relentless pushes from Gen.G, the bounty gold. Worth a shot, worth some brave optimism. But for XGN, not able to pull it off. And it's just more kills for Gen.G. Keen sitting on 8. 12 for Pays. And yes, Chovy was behind in terms of CS in the early game. He's taking a substantial lead now. And Aurelion Soul just gets stronger and stronger as he continues to stack up minions and Stardust. He's opted for a more defensive third item here. Looking for the Seeker's Arm Guard, a very expensive item, but will give him some survivability into these relentless pursuits that we've seen from SCP in the jungle. Maybe he'll survive long enough to actually trade that back next time around with some of that additional armor and the stasis. So we'll see a Flash Force here from Chovy. As Keen's just sniping people, will take out Pepperoni. Redemption here allowing Chovy to push forward, grabs the heal. Has that stasis I mentioned with the Seeker's Arm Guard. Going to pop that here, but here comes Pays on the flank. Look at the damage coming through from the ult. He's popping them like balloons, and Pays will help Keen grab a second kill there. And down goes SCP as well. Keen gets him with a once more over his shoulder. Keen sitting on a Guardian Angel right now. You have to kill him twice if you want to kill him, but I don't think anyone's dying here for Gen.G. As down goes Pepperoni for the ace for Gen.G. A clean ace. And the push to end here at 24 minutes. XGN gave him a good challenge, gave him a good show, but Gen.G will ultimately win it in the end. 34 kills to 13. Will be the winners of the Life's Good tournament here in Vietnam. Very, very fun tournament game there that we did witness between these two. It's kind of on the edge of my seat with some of those plays from SCP. Very aggressively trying to punish Chovy inside. Looking for some punishes onto Canyon early. And I think, unfortunately, the big issues were the top side control that Keen garnered early, and obviously the early kills that Pays had, because Chovy didn't have such a substantial lead, especially in the early parts of Aurelion Soul, to where the game was lost in all quadrants. And I think SCP giving a lot of trouble to some of those Gen.G members when they were playing greedy in the early parts, and then Chovy later in sides, allowed this series to be more competitive than I think a lot of people would have expected. I think had the bottom lane gone a little bit more even, had Pays and the Hens not just totally crushed Charlington and Pepperoni, maybe there was a game to be had there. And obviously top side solo kill did come through, so Keen miscalculated, didn't have level 6. He paid him back in full across the rest of the game, but hey, you solo killed Keen. Not many people do that. Keen is the solo killer. He is not the solo killed. So that is our first matchup, guys, for the day. If you are just tuning in, we had the Gen.G versus XGN match, and that is just a best of one. So that's finished now. Gen.G taking a pretty dominant victory there. But before this ends, we are, of course, going to have a really fun match, a show match that's going to come through where some of the Gen.G players will actually be shuffled with the XGN players, the Vietnamese players, and then we'll play an ARAM. So we'll finish today's festivities with an ARAM. I know a lot of you guys are watching from Korea, so shout outs to you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. And we're going to go to about a 15-minute break. We'll see you guys on the other side.
파이팅 해가지고 좋은 모습 보여드리도록 하겠습니다.
이제 새 시즌을 또 준비하게 됐는데 LG 울트라 기어에서 좋은 모니터를 지원해 주셔서 연습이 잘 될 것 같아요. 그래서 저희 젠지는 또 좋은 성적 내고 LG 울트라 기어의 앞날도 창창하게 기대하겠습니다. 파이팅!
Optimism is a funny thing. It's not what you call an easy path. Life is too full of setbacks and chaos to feel optimistic. Yet if you do decide to take yourself to the very edge of what's possible, and dive in, smile first. Well, that's when the good stuff starts. Optimism is a hard thing to choose. But once you do, you'll see why life's good.
탑라이너 기인 김기인이라고 합니다.
정글 캐니언 김건부입니다.
초비 정지훈입니다.
원딜 페이지 김수환입니다.
서폿을 맡고 있는 리엔즈 송시우라고 합니다.
로스터가 2024년에 바뀌게 되었는데 잘하는 팀원들이 와서 기대하고 있는 중입니다.
이제 아무래도 좀 젠지 팀에 이제 좀 잘하는 선수들도 많고
진짜 자신의 역할을 잘 해줄 것 같아서 저만 잘하면 될 것 같습니다.
로스터가 바뀌면서 팬 여러분들이 많이 기대도 해주시고 많이 주목을 받고 있는 상태인 것 같아요.
대회 준비 전에 약간 좀 스트레칭 같은 거 하면서 몸 풀어야 좀 대회 때도 집중 잘 되는 것 같아서
모니터 위치나 그런 게 좀 거리 감각을 재는 거에 있어서 되게 중요하다 생각하는데 제가 원래 쓰던 거를 좀 기억해놓고 경기장 갈 때마다 맨날 위치를 바꾸는 것 같습니다.
플레이할 때 많이 보는 화면이기도 하고 해서 모니터가 좀 좋아야 저희 눈도 좀 덜 필요하고 그래서 좀 많이 중요한 것 같습니다.
모니터와 제 몸의 거리를 너무 가깝게 하지 않는다? 이 정도만 지키는 것 같아요.
헤르츠를 144를 쓰다가 244를 쓰면 확연히 좀 다른 게 눈에 보이고요.
좋은 모니터를 쓰다 보면은 좀 이제 부드럽게 약간 움직이는 그런 느낌이 있는데 조금이라도 사양이 약간 살짝 떨어지거나 그런 거를 쓰면은 아무래도 조금 티가 나는?
경기장이 좀 확실히 좀 화면이 되게 부드럽게 전환이 잘 되는 것 같고 마우스 그 에임도 좀 부드럽게 가는 것 같아서 마음에 들었습니다.
집에서 휴가나 쉴 때 이제 약간 FPS 쪽 게임을 하는데 그런 게임을 하다 보면 약간 구사율이 더 높은 게 훨씬 더 뭔가 좋다고 느낄 때가 좀 많았어요.
대회 때도 쓰고 연습할 때도 LG 울트라 기어 모니터를 쓰는데 확실히 좀 저희 같은 프로게이머들은 조금만 뭐랄까 주사율이 느려도 체감이 되거든요. 근데 LG 울트라 기어 모니터를 쓰면서 그런 부분에서 문제를 전혀 느끼지 못했고 오히려 너무 좋아서 연습이 잘 된다고 생각을 하는 것 같아요. OLED 모니터 또 컨텐츠 찍으면서 그때는 발로란트를 했었는데 FPS 게임은 좀 더 반응 속도가 더 우선순위가 여겨지는 부분이 있어서 실력에 욕심이 나시는 분들은 OLED 모니터를 한번 써보셔도 되게 체감이 많이 되실 것 같아요.
이제 저 모니터가 이제 OLED 패널을 사용해서 이제 빠른 주사율과 이제 좀 반응 속도가 좋다고 해가지고 되게 기대 중입니다.
LG 울트라 기어가 버튼 하나만 누르면 해상도와 주사율을 좀 마음대로 할 수 있는 게 가장 큰 장점인 것 같습니다.
게임을 할 때는 이제 높은 헤르츠로 사용을 하다가 이제 뭐 영상이나 그런 거 볼 때 이제 바로 더 좋은 화질로 볼 수 있으니까 엄청 편리하고 좋은 것 같아요.
기억에 좀 남는 게 일단 모니터가 되게 얇고 가벼웠던 것 같고 그리고 디자인도 예뻐서 세련돼 보이고 트렌드를 잘 반영한 디자인 같아서 마음에 들었던 것 같습니다.
일단 32인치인 것부터가 되게 몰입하기 좋을 것 같고 좀 화면이 크게 들어오니까 게임하기에도 되게 좋을 것 같아요.
이제 젠지에서 꼭 이루고 싶은 목표가 LCK도 이제 좋은 성적 냈으면 좋겠지만 국제대회에서 이제 멤버들이랑 다 같이 좋은 성적 냈으면 좋겠습니다.
내년에 새로운 또 도전을 하게 되는데 꼭 파이팅 해가지고 좋은 모습 보여드리도록 하겠습니다.
이제 새 시즌을 또 준비하게 됐는데 LG 울트라 기어에서 좋은 모니터를 지원해 주셔서 연습이 잘 될 것 같아요. 그래서 저희 젠지는 또 좋은 성적 내고 LG 울트라 기어의 앞날도 창창하게 기대하겠습니다. 화이팅!
Optimism is a funny thing. It's not what you'd call an easy path. Life is too full of setbacks and chaos to feel optimistic. Yet if you do decide to take yourself to the very edge of what's possible and dive in, smile first. Well, that's when the good stuff starts. Optimism is a hard thing to choose. But once you do, you'll see why life's good.
탑라이너 기인 김기인이라고 합니다.
정글 캐니언 김건부입니다.
초비 정지훈입니다.
원딜 페이지 김수환입니다.
서폿을 맡고 있는 리엔즈 손시라고 합니다.
로스터가 2024년에 바뀌게 되었는데 잘하는 팀원들이 와서 기대하고 있는 중입니다.
이제 아무래도 좀 젠지 팀에 이제 좀 잘하는 선수들도 많고
진짜 자신의 역할을 잘 해줄 것 같아서 저만 잘하면 될 것 같습니다.
로스터가 바뀌면서 팬 여러분들이 많이 기대도 해주시고 많이 주목을 받고 있는 상태인 것 같아요.
대회 준비 전에 약간 좀 스트레칭 같은 거 하면서 몸 풀어야 좀 대회 때도 집중 잘 되는 것 같아서
모니터 위치나 그런 게 좀 거리 감각을 재는 거에 있어서 되게 중요하다 생각하는데 제가 원래 쓰던 거를 좀 기억해놓고 경기장 갈 때마다 맨날 위치를 바꾸는 것 같습니다.
플레이할 때 많이 보는 화면이기도 하고 해서 모니터가 좀 좋아야 저희 눈도 좀 덜 필요하고 그래서 좀 많이 중요한 것 같습니다.
모니터와 제 몸의 거리를 너무 가깝게 하지 않는다? 이 정도만 지키는 것 같아요.
헤르츠를 144를 쓰다가 244를 쓰면 확연히 좀 다른 게 눈에 보이고요.
좋은 모니터를 쓰다 보면은 좀 이제 부드럽게 약간 움직이는 그런 느낌이 있는데 조금이라도 사양이 약간 살짝 떨어지거나 그런 거를 쓰면은 아무래도 조금 티가 나는.
Welcome back, everyone. We are still here at the Life's Good Showmatch series. We just had the Summoner's Rift 5v5 between Gen.G and XGN. I'm still Wolf. I am covering this for you guys in English. As I mentioned before, I know there's a lot of Koreans watching, so 안녕하세요. 와줘서 감사합니다. 이거 다 잘 보시고 부대찌개 먹으러 갑시다. I'm just teasing you guys watching at home, but it's a lot of fun. I know there's people watching from all over the world, and I'm really excited to see what the teams are going to look like for this ARAM. So this is going to be the second half of today's broadcast, where we have the Vietnamese team and players mix with the Gen.G roster, and after they swap, we'll have what those rosters are going to look like. We'll have two team captains who will be mixing those rosters up. So honestly, so far with what we've seen, I was pretty impressed with the level of play that we saw from the Vietnamese players. SCP in particular also looking very good. So let's see what these teams are going to look like as we shuffle the lineups here. So we have a really cool graphic to showcase. So
You can see Gen.G and XGN. I'm going to put them back and shuffle them up. Where will we end up? This is, of course, the team captains. Now, Chovy and Pays are split. Okay, Charlington's going to Chovy's side. Nguyen, the mid laner, will be going to Pays' side here. Now, Keen and Canyon are also split. We'll have Pepperoni and SCP cut up. So SCP, the more impressive player here on XGN, is going on Pays' team there on the bottom side. And then Rhythm of the Rain will join him as Lehens goes top side. So the larger portion of Gen.G players are on the top side, but SCP is on the bottom squad here. So excited to see, though, the captains here are Maidora, the host that you guys saw earlier, who interviewed the teams and had great Korean, and has 2 cats named Cho and B after Chovy, and of course Optimus, who is Vietnamese caster. So he's the captain for the bottom team. So we'll call them the Team 1 and Team 2, or the Maidora team and the Optimus team. So these are what the roster is going to look like. 2 jungle players on the same team in ARAM. Now, that, if I was thinking about things in a very, very, very high-level perfect world scenario, I would think, okay, jungle players might not be as good at ARAM because they are not laning players, but I think with ARAM, you just throw all of that out the window. You don't think about that at all. Keen had a fantastic performance on the Urgot previously, so he's definitely feeling himself today, despite getting solo killed there once by Rhythm of the Rain. Lehens, also pretty fantastic performance to get Pays super ahead in the bottom 2v2. Chovy, I think, having a pretty good game himself, but a fairly quiet game for Chovy's standards. So since it is all random, all mid, we don't know what any of these players are going to be playing until the lobby does come online. So I'm going to be taking a look at that briefly. But for now, it is me that you guys are going to be taking a look at. So it's been pretty interesting thus far to see what I thought, honestly, going into this this tournament today would be a massive stomp. And it still was a stomp, to be real, to be honest with you guys. It was one-sided. But I think the fight that was put up by the XGN players, the Vietnamese players, was pretty solid, pretty good. So when we move into this ARAM, hard to say who's going to really have an advantage, but I think a lot of it's going to come down to what the players end up with in terms of champions. And as far as I know, there are no additional special rules about champions that can or cannot be played. It's just going to be normal, Summoner's Rift, or sorry, Howling Abyss ARAM rules that you'd see in your League of Legends games at home. So, bit of a Kai-bottom match going on here is what we're going to be seeing. And if you guys are unfamiliar, as you saw earlier, Summoner's Rift has 3 lanes and the jungle, right? 5 players on each team. You have a top laner, mid laner, 2 players go in the bottom, your AD carry and your support, and there's a jungler, right? But in ARAMs, ARAM stands for, and if you're Korean, you might not know what ARAM is. So ARAM is A, all, R, random, A, all, mid. So all random, all mid. So all players will be playing random champions, and they'll all be going mid. Now, of course, it's not the same mid from Summoner's Rift. It's a catered map that has special balance and different rules. But for the most part, if you think of 5 players running towards 5 other players, minions are still coming, and you're just constantly fighting all the time. Constantly fighting all the time. The gold and the items are accelerated as well, so you get stronger faster than you normally would. And there are several turrets that you have to push through before you ultimately get to the end and try to win the game. So that's how this is going to work. And there are certain champions that are stronger than others in this mode. And for example, if you end up with a pick, like a support pick, doesn't mean that necessarily you're going to be worthless, because engaging and catching someone and locking them down, getting CC, can still be quite strong. Becoming tanky can be quite strong. So you can be a frontline for the rest of the damage dealers. So, when you end up with your lineup, you have to kind of identify who's going to be doing what in terms of doing the actual damage, who's going to be setting up for the damage. You might end up with like 5 squishy 80 carries, and you don't have a tank, you don't have a front line, you just have to maximize your damage, and your target selection needs to be good. Wave clear is obviously a huge thing in ARAM. How quickly can you push the minions into the turret so you can do that damage, put the pressure on your opponents. And being able to set up in brushes, as there are a few bushes on the side of the map as well, is very important. And I think the most important thing about playing ARAM, crucially, the most important thing is to play a champion that's really fun. And Toby's face versus Canyon's face right now. Toby's face looks like he might not have rolled something that he likes. Canyon looks like he's about to have a lot of fun. Face looks like he's about to have a lot of fun. And sometimes you roll something, or you roll a list of champs you don't really want to play, but you got to make the most of it. That's the rules. It's all random. I only get one chance of this. Charlington looking ready to redeem himself. I think Charlington had a bit of a rough game in the 5v5 Summoner's Rift, just simply because he got put down so early on a champion that doesn't do well from behind and has a very low amount of agency from behind. So, you know, nobody throws shade on Charlington. Nobody blame him, because if you fall that far behind, there's almost nothing you could do. If you put Pays in the same position at 15 minutes that Charlington was in that game, he's also going to have a lot of trouble. So just to give that additional context, the game is loading up. We'll find out what these champions are going to be momentarily. I hope you guys have been enjoying the games so far. We did have a few small hiccups earlier, but for the most part, everything has been going very smoothly. Now, I don't know if the... I assume that the players are still sitting in their same seats, so the Life's Good team XGN might actually be still sitting next to each other despite actually having to play against each other, which would be kind of funny. I'm not sure. I can't confirm or deny that for you guys, but that would be kind of funny if, for example, Pays and Lehens are still sitting next to each other right now despite being on opposite sides here. And obviously there's going to be a bit of a language barrier in terms of communication between these two squads with a mixed roster with Korean and Vietnamese players. So sometimes it can be tricky to find that synergy very, very quickly in a match like this when you're not fluent in Korean, not fluent in Vietnamese, you're not fluent in English. Looks like we are ready to jump in. We're at the very last part of what has been a very cool Life's Good tournament here. Again, thanks to LG. All right, let's see where we're at. We're fighting already. And big Ornn knockups coming through. And that's 2 kills already here to the blue squad. And, okay, some traded kills back as we get close to the turret. All right, I'm looking at the rosters. I want to look at these rosters and kind of break them down, but we're already fighting, so... Okay, Kog'Maw getting flashed on here. Keen's playing Kog'Maw. He will get taken out as passive. Oh, not quite able to take out the Blitzcrank. Oh, as Maokai is going deep. Lehens, where are you going, Lehens? He's laughing. He went a little bit too far on that one. Low health bars here for the red squad. They have enough damage here to take out the Ornn as, ooh, in goes the Mordekaiser. As I believe that's Charlington going in. Okay, a good grab here and knock up to come through from Rhythm of the Rain will secure the kill. So striking back, a fairly close game in terms of the kills here, but a lot of control for Mydora's squad here in blue. As another grab comes through, the knock up with a rocket punch won't be enough to secure the kill onto Chovy's Lux here. But the push does continue. The route isn't going to lead to anything here. Onto Rhythm of the Rain. Shaco in ARAM can be quite tricky. Not going to fool anybody pre-level 6, so that one just gets burst down. So in terms of the compositions, I actually really like what Mydora's team has because they have a lot of great frontline CC and knockups, as you can see here. Will be a kill, though, going on to Lehens as we're going to see Canyon on this Lucian really put that damage out. I was looking for an opportunity for a fear here once again. Unsuccessful for SCP. Down goes Chovy. See a hook coming through. There's the grab. And one more kill will go over. So a big swing back here, actually. Heal going to go down as well to help them push. So for the first time, we will actually see Optimus' team start to put that pressure on. Just doing some Shaco emoting here. You know what? I've never cast Shaco before. It's my first time. Won't be casting him for much longer right here as he is taken out by a Chain CC. Free level 6, unfortunately, for him. Heal here, not going to get too much value. A little bit, though, and the turret's going to work. The Lux ultimate, though, from Chovy. A final spark does so much work. Everybody's laughing. Everyone's having a good time. As once again, the lead swings back to Mydora's team. Okay, now level 6 here for SCP. Fake Shaco taken out here. Let's see Annie return. That's Win playing the Annie. Does have level 6 ultimate already dropped, though, so not much he can do. That's okay, another grab here as Rhythm of the Rain is really hooking his team to some big opportunities here. But oh, look at the Oran Horn coming through. And Lehens will sacrifice himself here and try to secure that kill. Actually not going to go down. As another hook comes through onto Lehens. He's taken out. Canyon is really racking up these kills. Double comes through here for SCP. Kog'Maw getting knocked up, revealed. In goes the Sejuani. And now a big swing back here for Team Optimus as it's nearly the full wipe. It is a full wipe. Lehens respawn, though, is now going to try to do his best to defend this turret. Doesn't have his ultimate. And here he goes in onto Canyon. Takes Canyon out. We'll see if they can kite back here. Low health bars. Win is super low. He gets taken out. Heal's going to come through here. Another root from Lehens. And SCP is in trouble. Will get taken out here by the Kog'Maw of Keen. Now continue to push forward. Just swinging back and forth, as the root comes in onto the Blitzcrank. The pullback from the Mordekaiser is enough to help Keen secure another kill on this Kog'Maw. And Pepperoni's Orin low health, but he does kite back. In goes Lehens again. He's taken out. Double kill here for Win before he goes down. They're going to just focus down Tibbers as quickly as they can. Canyon taken out here by Mordekaiser, flying forward to look for that one. And will find himself another kill. Will be killed for it. At least he gives his life for something. A flash used here to avoid the Blitzcrank hook. As here comes SCP looking for Keen. Down he goes. It's passive, getting a little bit of value here as the double knockup comes through onto the Shaco and his clone. And SCP will be traded back. 42 kills already here in 6 minutes. Chovy very low on health, very low on mana. See what he can get done here as out comes Lehens' ult. Nature's Grasp and the double knockup here as Lehens goes deep onto Canyon. Another double knockup comes through from the Ornn. But it's a trade back here. 2 kills for Rhythm of the Rain on the Blitzcrank. And even with a cleanse there from Keen, he is taken out as well. Optimus' squad getting pushed in pretty constantly, but not able to actually, but we're not seeing them get punished too hard for it. We're seeing a lot of trade backs here. As unfortunately for Rhythm of the Rain, he oversteps his bounds as well with the teleporter coming through. Really easy to get back to lane and get back into the action, even with some of those members getting taken out. And once again, Mydora's team in the lead. Okay, in goes SCP. The fake one going to get 2 fears here. Knockup comes through, but the trade is favoring overall Optimus' squad. But look at the damage coming through from Chovy. And now those health bars are starting to get worn down. And Keen, he's still pretty healthy. And that artillery is firing from far away. Bit of an aggressive play there from Pepperoni will get punished. You can see he laughs so hard he shakes his cam. As Keen picks up another one here on the Kog'Maw, and the aggression continues. Pushing this next wave in. Turret health relatively similar. I think slight lead going to Optimus' squad in that regard, but SCP will be taken out. As once again, Sejuani going in, getting caught. I don't know if I'd say went in or was caught. Both not ideal. As Chovy kites back super low. Ends up grabbing another kill for his squad there. When falls. Blitzcrank cowering under the turret. Even with the low health bars here, not much Blitzcrank can do alone. And finally, we'll see the first turret fall. Blitzcrank, once again, not great on his own, but now SCP is coming through the focusing down. Rhythm of the Rain first. Chovy so insanely low. Gets the shield. And we'll back off. But now Keen ready to do that damage. Looking to take out SCP, but it's the clone he finds. And he's feared. Super low, and Canyon will pick up a triple kill as well as the heal. So felt good about getting that turret until everyone respawns and takes it back. But with these long respawn timers, it looks like Optimus' team is going to look for a little bit more. Mordekaiser hooked in instantly. Say goodbye to Charlington, who went in alone a bit early. And now one by one they come to try to defend this turret. They are able to take out the Blitzcrank here, but Ornn with the knockup. Canyon isolated, shut down. Lots of gold there into the pocket of Pepperoni. Okay, good fear here is look at the damage coming through off of that Sejuani. Didn't even notice the build. Shadow Flame here on the Sejuani. Doing some unreal damage. Pays piloting this pick. As SCP tosses out the clone. We'll get the fear, but no meaningful follow-up. And as a result, we will slow down a moment here. Some abilities whiff. Nice attempt there from Charlington as in goes Lehens. Looking for Canyon. And down goes his teammate. As Shaco will be taken out as well. SCP. Goodbye. We still see a kill traded back here as Tibbers is dropped. Sacrificial Ornn to go in to try to get what he can get done. And Pepperoni isn't going to be able to get too much. Will help them control this wave, though. And a lot of meaningful damage done here by Keen. Ooh, the binding hits! And so will the pull from Charlington. Okay, and we go. Win looking for the setup here, and it's going to be once again another triple for Canyon. No one going to stop him now, and now Optimus' team really rolling this advantage forward. Starting to look for this next turret here. Looking at all that first strike gold coming through on this Lucian, stacking up the money. Does get knocked up here, though. Good fear, though, off the clone. Turns this one around. Able to take Pepperoni out, and they're looking for Lehens. Canyon, does he have the damage? The answer is yes, he will lose his life for his Lehens. Size with relief. At least they're able to get one back onto Canyon and get the shutdown there. Let's look at that damage on AP Sejuani coming through from Pays, as well as another hook. And the follow-up punch will allow SCP to take Chovy out of the fight. But here comes a big Mordekaiser chasing forward here. Will be forced to leave now. As Pepperoni ults once again. Gets the Blitzcrank there on the edge. As Rhythm of the Rain nearly gets taken out. Not quite. Won't be hit by the snowball there either. Looking for a fear here with this clone. Going to be pretty low value. They're able to at least take out Charlington there off the play, as Canyon has really been the main character here in terms of damage for Optimus' squad. On the other side, it's been Keen. Everything else has just been set up support for these 280 carries, starting to stack up tons of items here. Canyon getting closer to his LDR. A little bit more defensive itemization here for Keen. As Lehens, nice sacrifice here. Oh, Lehens still going to die, though, for it. A nice attempt, though, by Pepperoni to keep him alive, to block the Sejuani ult. But they'll both go down regardless. And Optimus' squad here is really starting to pull ahead, clearing this wave as quickly as they can. Tibbers getting in on the action. They clear the wave. That means no real meaningful damage to go down onto this turret. Trying to use Tibbers to buffer some of that up so they can maybe get a few hits in, but realistically not able to do much. Shaco clone down. Big pull in here attempted by Charlington. It's not going to really work out, as here comes the Lehen's fault, though. Those health bars are so low! And down goes Blitzcrank. Canyon, where are you going? Way too far forward there. Trying to do what he can, but is punished. Yeah, do some sit-ups while you wait for your AD carry to respawn, as Canyon is sorely needed to keep this turret alive. Okay, look at this angle here, though, for Pays. He's going to use his ult to slow them down. They desperately need Canyon to respawn. Once Wind comes back, they can stave off this aggression. They clear the wave as quickly as they can to keep this turret alive. Okay. Comes the Blitzcrank back. And Rhythm of the Rain not quite able to land that hook. Canyon's going to ult and takes him out just straight up. See you later, Keen. And now they're going to follow up as best as they can here. Great positioning on the Shaco clone attempted here, as it will be taken out, as well as the real SCP once Charlington gets in there. Here we're going in deep, Lehens, but the Ornhorn follow-up. Can they take out Canyon? He doesn't take too much damage. They'll get Win, but Canyon is happy to free fire into these tanks. Does have his LDR completed. Will take out the Maokai. Can he get the Orn? No, he cannot. This Pepperoni will punish him there. That's a nice attempt here from Pays with a flash ult, and the follow-up on the ultimate there with the AP stacked up is enough. And he's got that Malignant's cooldown reduction, so those come back real quick. As once again, it's Blitzcrank against the world. An attempt here from Pepperoni to get in there and get something done. We'll be just giving his life. The ornament's starting to come through as well. I don't actually know how ornaments work in ARAM, but he's got his own on the Jack shows and on the Malignant. So yeah, you could put those through as hold up, Win. Trying to support the Blitzcrank there, is punished for it. Still 2 kills. Yeah, the Blitzcrank was punished for it. Win is fine. And they end up getting 2 kills. 10 kills the lead now. As Momentum is back in their favor now. Lehen's trying to offer a little bit of damage back here, but he's gone for the tanky build so he can be the main engage tool here. As Chovy is looking for a root opportunity. Doesn't matter if he doesn't get that one onto Canyon. There's just too much of a front line. Canyon can't break through. He's taken out regardless. And here comes the push back through. Big knock up there from Pepperoni, and Chovy with the final spark. We'll get a double kill. SCP actually fools them and survives, but how much will it matter? They won't be deterred by this spear. And a little bit of a stagger here as he will get out once again. But he's ultimately just delaying his respawn. But I mean, the plays are impressive here for SCP. Bit of a tease, buying some time here for some of those respawns to come through. Canyon is back up. But this turret is going to fall, so secondary turret here goes down first. As here comes the teleports back to the portal. Win instantly focused out of the portal there. The Ornhorn going through, largely ignoring Win, going for the backline here. Canyon is so low, avoids the snowball. This may be the beginning of the end. The inhibitor is down. Need to buy time. Dodges the final spark, but can't dodge the Hens. At least the Hens will go down with him. But chances here of survival are slim for Optimus' squad. They had a lot of control through the middle part of this game, but now these Nexus turrets begin to fall. They need those respawns so desperately. Blitzcrank up in 5. Annie up in 5. Here comes the portal. Shaco's got the clone. Takes out Chovy. And they're hanging by a thread, but they're hanging by that thread. The brave optimists that they are. Mordekaiser go into stasis here for a little bit, but will ultimately be taken down. Now, how much can Optimus' team push here for the punish is the real question. Trying to push as fast as they can. As Pepperoni teases them to try to slow them down. And with these super minions, it's hard. They need to get some additional picks here, consistently get these kills so they can follow up and take down this turret. They will get the kill onto Lehens. They'll have the engage gone here, especially with Pepperoni being so low. Might have to see a big play here when the respawn comes through. Oh, down will go Keen. The turret as well. And they're going to try to get this counter inhibitor. This is when things start to get really dicey. Canyon flashes the knock-up here. And Pepperoni commits anyways. They have the damage. Down goes Canyon. Lens giving a big laugh there after that one. As Wen trying to do what he can here. Some additional burn damage to come through. It's not going to be enough for his team necessarily to win this fight as the Mordekaiser rips through those health bars. It takes a long time. But ultimately we will also see Rhythm of the Rain fall. Fear will delay. Sad B out from Lehens. As he's trying to catch them here with the Nature's Grasp. Will Pays get out. He flashes it. Canyon's up in 5 seconds. This game is not over. It really isn't. Okay, here comes the attempt on PCP's life. Down he goes. Trade of kills though, as Pepperoni also will fall. It's tricky. I'm trying to keep all these IDs in line for you guys as best as I can. Because who's dying by SCP, dying there on the Shaco. For Pepperoni, who's playing the Ornn in this case. Slowed up for a minute. Waiting for those respawns. Some emotes going down as no minions to be seen. Later kill on the inhib here for the side of Optimus' squad, so they'll have a slight super minion advantage. If I'm remembering correctly. Okay, ult from Pays isn't really going to lead to much follow-up. Canyon can thin this wave, though, with his culling. Oh, double root here. Tough for SCP's clone to get much done. We're going to see a big flash Tibbers, though, onto Chovy. Not quite enough, though. Down goes the Blitzcrank. This could be the beginning of the end as Lehens goes in. But Canyon's damage is nothing to shake a stick at here. This is an 80 carry battle here. As Chovy was engaged on, but survives as well. Final Spark not going to catch SCP. They have the numbers advantage here. It's all on Canyon. Gets the kill there onto his counterpart in Keen. That is so huge. Great avoid there from SCP. And the game continues. Without a clutch play like that from Canyon, might have ended right there. But he takes Keen out. Confident on the Lucian. His Final Spark will take out Pays. Lucian flashing here. Canyon takes out Chovy. Looking for the kill here onto the Mordekaiser, but no, he will not have it. And now let's see what the respawning Blitzcrank can do here with SCP. Win also back up. Lots of damage being done here. As SCP is living forever. Knockup comes through. As now Pepperoni knows he is the sacrificial lamb. Trying to look for that kill onto SCP. He will fall. Inhibitor has respawned here for the side of Optimus' squad. As it looks like Lehens killed him with the sapling there. I was looking at the minimap. I didn't even see it happen. The sapling kill does take out SCP. Allow him to get respawned and healthy again. As once again, I feel like the most important thing is Keen and Canyon. Good frontlining here, but the hook comes through onto Lehens. He's tanky, but not tanky enough. The culling will help take him out as Canyon gets the kill there. And as his front line disappears, there's an opportunity. Another engage here from the Blitzcrank. So it will be Keen who trades a kill back onto the Annie. Wins down now. Pays, where are you going? Trying to set up for something here. Trying to set up for Canyon. But down he goes, and this Ornn is just too tanky. Pepperoni says, I'll walk at you, Canyon. Final Spark will hit Canyon. And now they're getting a defensive posture here around these fear boxes for Shaco. Looking to maybe trap the members of Mydora's team. It's Pepperoni Looking for the engage here, takes a lot of damage, and Canyon is still very healthy. And all those boxes set up, as well as the clone there, we're going to do a number onto Pepperoni. He still survives, though, as SCP chases him down. Low health bars here. This could be disastrous if multiple members here of Midor's team go down simultaneously. Could be enough for Optimus to finish things off. Canyon playing respectfully here, backing off as Lehens' engage comes through. Pepperoni, the next one to challenge him. But look at that damage coming through, and SCP once more will not quite be able to finish him off, but he's so low. Double root here onto the clone and the real SCP as Chovy finishes him off here, and now Win also punished. Where's that damage from Canyon? He's playing so far back. He's playing so far safe because there's so many different things that can get on top of him. So much CC. Positioning is good, but his front line is falling apart member by member, piece by piece, as the Blitzcrank goes in to look for something. And now it's Canyon against the world. Pays can only look on, but the kiting is real. And Pays pulls it off. Looking for another one here. And he will get it onto Charlington. Another one, a triple. Chovy gets the root, but it's not enough damage. Oh, if he does not hit him with the singularity there, might have been the push to end. Pays doesn't have ultimate just yet, so can't get into range of Chovy on this Lux. It's almost there, it's almost there, it's almost there! The ult! Can he hit it? No! The flash from Chovy! And now, see Lehens coming in here looking for the punish, but he's not alone. The damage is enough here coming through from Chovy to take him out. No tanky items. Pure damage on the Sejuani build. And now Win trying to burn through with his Leandries the health bar of this tanky Lehens in the front line. Okay, in comes Lehens once again. SCP will be taken out. As where is Keen? Keen's just hanging out. Meanwhile, Canyon, he's getting it done here. We'll be able to kite back, do a ton of damage to Pepperoni as well as some of the rest of the members with that culling. Now Keen has rejoined. Anathema's picked up here for Pepperoni. Not sure who it's on, actually. Really helping out here is okay here. In goes Charlington. And out goes Charlington. Super low here, but helps catch Canyon. Canyon says, I don't care about CC, I'm going forward. I'm doing the damage. Pops that maw. He's got the heal. Canyon says he wants to end this right now, and he very well might. It's a triple. And it's a quadra. Nope, stolen. Never mind. Cancel the quadra. Stolen by Win. But I think that might be the beginning of the end here. 15 seconds on Chovy, 15 seconds on Keen. Mordekaiser alone trying to defend is going to be such a challenge. They have this inhibitor to work through, though. Going to buy a few more seconds of time. What can Keen, Chovy, and Charlington get done against the stacked squad here of Optimus? Flank attempt here, but I just don't think there's enough. Final Spark burns down the health bars, but if they target the Nexus, it looks like this will come to an end. Another kill comes over. 2 more for Canyon. 37 kills for the Lucian. And that will be the end of the game. Optimus' squad will take it ultimately in the end. And Canyon, definitely the MVP of that one against the Lux CC, the Orange CC, the relentless Maokai attempts from Lehens. He was doing such a good job of maintaining his positioning, putting that damage through. Good build on the Lucian as well. And, you know, Canyon, he's played a lot of jungle. He's played a lot of jungle. He's got a ton of experience with this, but playing a little bit of AD carry here and showing us how it's done. Used to play alongside Showmaker back in the day, who was one of the Lucian players. So maybe picked up a thing or two from Showmaker during that time. But I got to say, very fun match there. And if you guys don't know, I'm normally the analyst at the LCK. I don't normally do the yelling and the play-by-play, so that was a different and new experience for me, is the constant play-by-play of the ARAM. But I had a lot of fun, and I'm really glad you guys joined me for this. So
As far as I'm aware, we are going to have another interview before we wrap things up here, but that is the end of the gameplay for today. We'll be hearing from the players one more time before we do close out the show. So it's been fun. It's been wonderful. I've had a lot of firsts today. You know, I got to cast a Vietnamese squad for the first time. I got to cast Canyon's Lily for the first time this year. Got to cast Canyon's Lucian for the first time. Got to cast ARAM in a professional setting for the first time. I'm not a big ARAM player. I'm pretty hardcore. I only play, you know, ranked games. But I do occasionally get dragged into the ARAM with a friend or two, or trying to duo queue, you know, and your friend is like, I need like 10 more minutes. You're like, all right, well, now you're going to have to wait for me to finish my ARAM. Everybody knows about that moment where you're stuck in the ARAM game. Okay, but actually it looks like the interview is not going to be here on this stream, so thank you guys so much for watching. Thanks again to LG, and remember, everybody, life's good. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.